So you're feeling alone and you feel really shitty about it, like anyone would. Here's why you shouldn't. We are back to our usual setting. This is a lot more comfortable for me than what I did last week, but I am thinking about changing it up again, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Today we're talking about being alone and if it is really that bad. We're going to talk about a lot. I do have a lot of things to say. Personal experience, lessons that I've learned, and I really do think a lot of people could benefit from hearing this. So I'm going to start off by saying this. I have experience being alone, and I am not saying this in a way that's like, oh, like it's so bad that I've been alone for such a long time in my life. And it's not. I learned a lot. I grew a lot as a person. I think I would have been a really different kind of personality had I not been alone for that long in my life. And I wouldn't have been able to appreciate myself as much, or a lot of things that I have around me right now, if I hadn't gone through what I did. What I went through is not something that nobody else has gone through. A lot of people go through it, and I know that. Although I don't think everybody learns from it like I did, which I'm not gonna hide it. I did learn a lot from it, and I think that a lot of people take a lot longer to learn the lessons that I did. And to be honest with you, I think people should know it now rather than 20 years down the lane, because they can achieve so much more in their life knowing what I know now. I guess when I say I've been alone for a long time, it's more of I struggled to keep people around me, whether it was a personal issue or disagreements mutually. I don't have like a lot of long-term people around me, which is not bad. I'm not complaining. That is just the situation. I have gotten used to spending so much time by myself and learning a lot of things by myself, going through a lot of things by myself. There are some good habits that came out of it and some bad habits that came out of it. For today, we'll talk about the good things that came out of it, and we'll talk about the not so great things that came out of it, a different episode. The first thing, when people say, oh, being alone, right? I'll be honest with you, a lot of people think, oh, that sucks, like you're gonna be lonely and you're gonna start feeling depressed. And I'll tell you something. Yes, it does happen to some people. Some people do enter depression being alone for such a long period of time, depending on their situation. However, perspective matters. If you look at the time that you have ahead of yourself and you know, okay, I know I'm gonna be alone, I don't have anyone around me, look at it as a blessing rather than a curse. Why does being alone always have to be such a bad thing? This is when you pick your logic over your emotions. And when you get out of it, it's not going to be the first time. It's not going to be the last time, and it's not going to be the only time. The faster you learn how to handle being alone for a long period of time, you're only going to get better at handling it when it happens again. You need to realize that it's not going to last forever. You are eventually going to come out of that state. You're going to meet new people. You're going to build new connections. It's the mindset that you have when that happens. Instead of purposefully making it such a bad experience, spend time with yourself. Get to know yourself. And I'm gonna talk about that in a second. You're gonna tell yourself things like, I'm gonna feel amazing when this is over. I'm strong for getting through this. Because you are. Being alone is not easy in today's society, the way that it works and how being social and having a strong social life is such a big part of our generation. Being alone is not easy, and it's very difficult to do a lot of things or feel a lot of feelings of happiness or gratitude or just enjoyment by being alone. And you know that when it comes around again, you're gonna feel more confident about facing it and going through it. Now, that is what your mindset should be. But what are you gonna actually do when you're alone and you don't have a lot of people around you? Reevaluate every single thing in your life. Take this, when I say take it as a blessing and not a curse, I mean it literally. Being alone is a chance that the universe is giving to you to reevaluate everything in your life. It is the perfect opportunity for you to rebrand and completely come out as a new and bettered person. And I'll tell you, sometimes I think that, being alone naturally is a good thing. But I think that sometimes people, to really get the stuff that they want, they need to be alone forcefully. They need to distance themselves from things that are going to stop them from getting what they want, and they need to be in some solitude. People struggle with being alone because they look for validation elsewhere. They look for validation about themselves outside. And let's talk about this. There's a different type of validation. Romantic, popularity, online, familial, academic, and emotional. People my age go through a lot of, I feel like, romantic, popularity, familial, and academic, and emotional. So most of them, right? Because at this point we have we have full, very, very busy lives, and every aspect gives us some sort of validation. Family expectations give you familial external validation. Academics, doing well, having a high GPA, taking AP classes, extracurriculars, how well you're doing, being the team captain for your sport, that gives you academic validation. Popularity, having a lot of friends, a lot of people know you, a lot of people like you, you're always out all the time, everybody wants to hang out with you. Popular validation. Romantic validation, having a significant other, going through talking stages, flirting. At this point, I feel like if you're going through college, hooking up with people, online dating, all of that is romantic validation, and all of those are ways that we look for validation outside of ourselves. The most important validation out of all of this is the one that you give yourself, because you can control that. When you start placing your self-worth outside of yourself in places where you can't control the outcome, you're always gonna feel, you're gonna end up feeling shitty about yourself at some point, because you can't control how other people feel about you. You don't know who's talking about you out there. You don't know how sometimes your actions may be perceived. You can't control that. What is the one thing you can control? How you feel about yourself, because you know your true intentions, you know what you actually want to do, you know your mindset, and you know your goals. Nobody else knows those. Nobody else knows you like you do. It becomes a continuous cycle that doesn't give you long-term satisfaction. Being alone teaches you that delayed gratification is one of the best things that can happen to any human being. Giving up a short-term source of happiness that's gonna give you long-term pain is not worth it. If you can work on yourself now and get that gratitude 5 years down the line, maybe even 2 years down the line, because you're a much better person then, and you are validating yourself and you know that you're in a better place and you don't need anybody else to tell you that you're good enough, is so much more better than 3 people telling you right now that you're great, but then 3 days later they don't want to talk to you anymore. What kind of validation is that? You need to build yourself to be worth of your own self-love. And I'll tell you what I mean by this. Stop seeking validation from other people, especially male or female validation, and I mean romantic validation, whoever you may be and whoever you may like. They're not better than you can be, and they will never be better than you can be. At least that is the mindset that you should have. Why do you think their opinion is valid? Their opinion was concocted based off of their own self-hatred and the things that they want from you, or they want to be like you. No, their opinion is not based on the goodness of their heart. It's based off their own insecurities and the primal need to want to drag you down with them. So it's not going to help you become a better person or help you reach your goals or whatever you want to do in life. It's not going to help you get there. You need to make sure that you are doing something in your life that's worthy of you telling yourself every day in the morning, yeah, I am worthy of my own validation, and I don't care what other people think, because I know what I'm doing is good. I know what life I'm living is good enough for me to be grateful for everything that I have around me. If this happens, you find that will and that power in yourself to be able to validate yourself by getting to know yourself. And that only happens when you are alone and no one else is around you to bother you and distract you from what you really want. Going through this period of solitude it's important, because you need to take advantage of the time and the space that you have. It's the most precious thing that the universe can ever give you. Do something by yourself. Figure out what you like. Treat yourself like, okay, here's what I want you to do. Treat yourself like another person, and you are paparazzi. You want to know everything about yourself, everything that you do. Why do you do certain habits? Why do you have certain opinions? Why do you like certain things? Why do you dislike certain things? What are some just unconscious things that you do, and why do you do them? Figure yourself out and know yourself like the back of your hand, because that is the only way that you are going to figure out what your goal in life is, what you're worthy of, and why you are worth validating. If you don't do anything in your life, then why are you worth validating? Expand your abilities. Learn what you like and what you don't like. Occupy your brain with growing your personality and your life and your abilities and your hobbies, rather than what other people think about you. They are simply not worth your time. It's not worth it. You are the thing that is the most valuable to be spending your time on. I don't care what other people think. Me. This is my time. This is my life. This is what I want to do, and nobody else is going to tell me that I can't do it because it's not their life. Their opinions are not valid. Think about it like fan theories, right? When a celebrity does something, are you going to believe everything that you hear the minute that you hear it? No. because you don't know where they came from. You don't know who made this story. You don't know if it's real. You don't know why this person is spreading it. And you never know what's actually happening in that celebrity's life. Just like that, when other people make opinions about you, they don't know anything about what's happening in your life. So how can their opinion of you even be valid? It doesn't make sense, which is why you can't take it seriously. The minute you start taking other people's opinions of you seriously, you've lost your own self-worth in that process. Your dignity is gone. Because why are you believing somebody else's opinion over your own when you're the person in charge of your life? Take that power back. Taking that power back does not mean going over there and picking a fight about saying, oh, why are you spreading these rumors about me? Or why do you think about me like this? No, it's letting them do whatever they want because you're not letting that affect you. Taking your power back is not about wishing harm upon other people. It's wishing the success upon yourself and praying for those other people so that they can do something better with their lives other than making negative opinions about other people and wasting their own time. That is it though for today. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. There are going to be a bunch more episodes like this that I have planned, and I'm really excited for you guys to listen to them. This is one of the biggest life lessons that I have learned in my life so far. Being 16, I don't think a lot of people know what I know, and I think it would be really valuable for people to understand how important it is to live in your own space. I don't have a problem with being alone. In fact, I love being alone. I love being by myself. Sometimes to a point where like I don't want people to bother me. Like I don't care if I don't have plans. Sometimes I don't go out for months. I don't have so many people in my life to hang out with so many times that I have to worry about that. I like spending time with myself. I like figuring myself out, and I think that is the best thing that I have ever done for myself is get comfortable with myself. A lot of people can't do that. They can't stay in a room with themselves. There always has to be someone with them, someone to talk to them. And I get it. You learn a lot of skills being around other people. And I'll be honest with you, that's a correct opinion. It's a valid opinion. And I'm not saying this because I don't have a social life and I'm trying to sugarcoat it. Being alone doesn't always work out for me. It doesn't always make me happy. I go through the thoughts of, damn, I don't have a social life. Damn, I don't have friends. I'm gonna be like this forever. And that's when you start having to change your perspective and be like, okay, how I feel is in my hands, and what I do with my time right now and my feelings right now is in my hands. So why am I letting something else affect what I could be doing? It doesn't make sense. So that being said, questions, let me know. Advice, let me know. But sit on it and think about it for a while, because it's one of the most great, one of the things that I'm most grateful for is being able to be by myself and have the ability to learn about myself and not hate that I'm alone a lot of the time. So again, it's not a sob story. I'm happy being alone, and I get it. Not a lot of people are. This is for them, because why are you making your life miserable for no reason just because you're alone? Being lonely and being alone are two very different things, and I think people my age need to start realizing the difference, because there's no reason for you to be depressed about it. That being said, I'm happy that you listened to this, and I will see you next week.